What is up, everybody? Thank you for stopping in to talk a trio of Dynasty trades involving Joshua Dobbs. If you want to go ahead and skip immediately to the first of the three deals, by all means, go for it. But before I get there, my name is Chew. You can check me out on Twitter and, of course, on YouTube here at Father Dynasty. And if you're enjoying this video, even just a little bit, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, if you want to see the full podcast episodes, which are on fatherhood and fantasy football, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and you will, I'm pretty sure, see more of it automatically. But all three of the trades I'm going over today, all pulled from the Dynasty Daddy trade database, Trade Finder. Not a sponsor, not an affiliate or anything, just very cool tool. It's a free tool to use. Helpful to be able to, you have different league settings. I'm sure people are in a lot of different leagues. Very helpful to be able to kind of look and see the difference of, 10 team, 12 team, 14 team, tight end premium, no tight end premium, a lot of those different things. So it's very helpful just to kind of get a diverse bit of thought there to help with your trades going forward. But talking about the man of the hour, so Josh Dobbs has had a interesting career up until this point and an absolutely meteoric rise this season. He is at 17.9 points per game for fantasy, and that has him just about in the range of the Jared Goff. He's about 18.1. But for Josh Dobbs, to start the season, he was pretty abruptly traded to the Cardinals right before the beginning of the season. And after the coach kept his cards close to the vest, it ended up being Dobbs, and he was starting for first 8 weeks. He was in Arizona. Of course, Kyler Murray eventually came back. Of course, he's doing well, but did well for the Cards. 3 top 10 finishes during his time in Arizona. I think not a lot of people expected much out of that offense, partially because of Dobbs and partially because of not a tremendous amount of weapons there at this point. And week 9 and on, so in week 9, or I guess technically just before it, was when Dobbs was traded from the Cardinals over to the Vikings. And without even having, a full week of getting those reps in, figuring out the cadence with his center and his linemen, being able to, fully understand the offense with Coach Kevin O'Connell, he was thrust into there with Jaron Hall, who was the rookie quarterback starting the game in week 9, got out with a concussion pretty quickly into the game. Josh Dobbs steps in. Over the past 3 weeks, since joining Minnesota, quarterback 5, 3, and 13. And again, pretty incredible. Interesting look at kind of how he's done it as well. So on the year, he's got 6 rushing touchdowns. He's never scored a rushing touchdown in any season of his career before this. So he has 6 already. And another kind of wrinkle in that, which I guess you kind of take the good with the bad, he does have 7 fumbles lost, which is pretty incredible, on 70 rushing attempts. And while these players are meant to be running the ball, just to put this in perspective, if Josh Dobbs has 7 fumbles lost on 70 rushing attempts, Christian McCaffrey and Josh Jacobs combined to this point, week 11, have 448 touches. That's rushing attempts and actual receptions. They have 3 fumbles lost combined. Again, I know the running backs, they're not supposed to fumble it. Technically, no football player is supposed to be fumbling the ball, but just wanted to paint that picture. But going ahead and looking at the keep trade cut value for Josh Dobbs, he is the quarterback 21. That is 1 behind Jordan Love and then 1 ahead of Russell Wilson. And looking at my dynasty rankings over at goingfor2.com, if you want to check those out and check out my other buddies there as well, I have him as the quarterback 29. Bit of uncertainty with what's going to happen after this year, but let's talk about these trades. So the first one of the 3, 12-team start 9 PPR no tight end premium. This one's pretty clean, pretty simple. We've got Christian Watson and Raheem Mostert for Josh Dobbs and a 2025 second. Again, without knowing where this pick lands in the second round, again, it's in 2025, so we wouldn't really know anyway. I'm going to lean the Josh Dobbs side. It is super flex, so there is that increased value of the quarterback, but On the other side of it, you do have a young wide receiver in Christian Watson in his second year. Has not been a fruitful sophomore season for him, but again, I'm not a huge believer in Jordan Love and his staying power there. So again, whether it's Jordan Love improving, he seemingly has had a better connection with Romeo Dobbs and Jaden Reed than he has Christian Watson. I also know Christian Watson has been battling injury this season, so that's maybe been a piece of it as well. But on the other side, Christian Watson, and then also Raheem Mostert. Tremendous story this season. And I guess, with the news of Devon Achane, I don't know the extent of the injury that he had left with last week, but could mean a little timeout, could mean reduced snaps, that sort of thing. Raheem Mostert, he's dominated this backfield, done incredibly well. So he's a good piece for now, but I think as the Dynasty community has, wavered a bit on giving too much long-term value to running backs, understandably, injury, just the cycle of how the NFL handles that sort of thing. So, yeah, overall, I like having Josh Dobbs, hoping that he gets a Geno Smith level contract next season, or just an opportunity to kind of immediately be a starter and either be a spot starter or fill in or be a very high-end backup. And 2025 second, who doesn't love a second? Again, this is 12 teams, so you would hope it's early or mid, but no way to know that. Jumping over to the second of the three deals. Same formats as a 12-team start 9 PPR no tight end premium. This one is a little bit shorter. So we've got a 2024 first and Evan Ingram for Josh Dobbs. Now, I know in the last deal I said that I like the staying power of the quarterback in Superflex, but I mean a 2024 first, honestly, even excluding Evan Ingram, I would take this deal. So I would most certainly go with the pick side. The flexibility of what that first is going to mean, again, even if it's in the back third, possibly. It's 12 teams, so it could theoretically be the 112. I would honestly be more comfortable with that. With Josh Dobbs, there's a lot of hope that he does, again, whether he stays in Minnesota, they're already having a good run now, and at least as of right now, they have that last playoff spot. We'll see how it checks out for the rest of the year. But who knows what's going to happen with Kirk? Who knows what's going to happen if they're regardless if it's Kirk or Dobbs, if they're going to go ahead and look to draft a quarterback? Who knows? But all I do know is I would much rather take that first, and it doesn't mean I have to take the pick. Having it now, and as we get closer to the draft, as everything happens with the offseason, the Senior Bowl, the Combine, people get riled up about certain players. There will be a time to be able to flip that pick if indeed you don't want to make it. And if you wait too long on Josh Dobbs, and he has this Cinderella story this season, but it doesn't really amount to much next year and going forward, you're left holding the bag, and you can't get rid of him. So much rather have that first. And again, that's even excluding Evan Ingram, who is a solid tight end. Again, if you're not one of those top 2, top 3 guys, doesn't mean a tremendous amount, I know, but he's a starting tight end on a good offense. I know they've been a bit rocky this season, but yeah, I'll take the first in Evan Ingram. Jumping over to the final of the 3 trades here. It's another one that's pretty short, but pretty incredible. 12 teams start 9 half-point PPR, no tight end premium. So similar to the last couple, but half-point PPR. A 2024 first for Josh Dobbs and a 2025 second. Now, honestly, even if this were a 2024 second and Dobbs, I would likely still go with this 2024 first. It makes it interesting if it is truly, you're just trading from, that future second to the tail end of the first here. But again, it's really all on, what you think about Dobbs. What do you think about his staying power after this season? He's not an older quarterback. He, again, like I mentioned a little bit earlier about Geno Smith, he's not a 31, 32, 33-year-old quarterback just kind of catching his stride. He's still in his, I believe, mid-20s, 26, 27, which, again, a bit younger. And we don't know what this means for his future with what's happened thus far, but, man, he has come in and he did what he did in Arizona. He comes in on a short week in Minnesota, and from all the stories we hear, just nothing but humility and just taking what he can get, that rushing upside. I feel like it's something where it's kind of just like that hero mentality, and he's just kind of getting it done. There had been some of those turnovers, obviously, with the fumbles, like I mentioned, but on the whole, I mean, he just seems like he's just out there trying to win. And obviously, it's been tremendously helpful for fantasy. I believe he's quarterback 7 as of after week 11. So overall, Josh Dobbs, an incredible story. Talking about these 3 trades here, there is some value to be had for him. If you can ever get a first, certainly, and even if you need to pair it with a future second, please go do it. But yeah, and tell me in the comments, what you think about these 3 trades. Have you had a recent trade involving Dobbs, or are you maybe thinking about it? Go ahead and drop that in the comments. Thank you for stopping by, and happy Dynasty.